Good morning and happy Friday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned on this Friday, July 11th. We're going into the weekend. It's exciting. Finally be at the end of a long week and a tiring week. Because I'll tell you what, I've just about had it with the Epstein drama. It's getting so old, and I'm not saying it's an insignificant story, but my goodness, are people making a lot out of it? And I'm not saying it's just tiring to hear nothing but complaints all day long. My gosh, I get it. It hasn't been the way we wanted it handled. I'm not saying it has, but my goodness, the bitching and the moaning, it's getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? Don't release it. Oh, man, I wish that's not the way I felt, but it is the way I feel about this whole thing right now because it's just becoming a lot. Look, the Department of Justice is now looking to unseal some of the information that has been sealed by a court, but the memo, and I can tell you how this is going to play out. They're going to get it released, right? And it's not going to implicate anybody, and they're going to say, see, it's a cover-up. The memo said all the stuff that's sealed by a court doesn't implicate anyone anyway. So I would say, don't stop trying, but please stop whining. I'm worn out by that. And again, it's not that it's not significant, but it's also not the only thing that matters. Yeah. And that's, I think, the point that because I'm like, oh, mass deportations. Like, doesn't matter, get to the Epstein. And I'm like, okay. So this is what phase of the game we're in now. So then take your ball. So then do me a favor. Then take your ball and go home and stay out of the way. Because we got people to deport and things that we've got to get done in the country that don't have to do with the Epstein files. It's not an ideal situation. I get it. I'm not saying that this went the way I wanted it to go. I don't think anybody is saying that. It's getting crazy, and I'm done trying to explain things to people. What we have had is instead, while everyone's distracted by the Epstein files, you've got people in Los Angeles shooting at ICE agents, guns drawn, shooting at ICE agents. But nothing matters except this freaking client list. Anyway. We have none of that. We're actually going to talk about a really good story today. We had to change it up because it's getting crazy. So we're going to talk about taking back your country. We're going to talk about taking back your country. Somebody who you have heard from before, who has been in our chat, who is doing remarkable things at his age. Okay? Dylan Fillion of Iowa. He did hundreds of thousands of phone calls last year for the Trump campaign in the 2024 election. 21 years old, just recently turned 21 years old, and he's running for office in the state of Iowa, right? And I see a lot of people online laughing at him, right? And saying, because he's young and very ambitious. And you know what? Laugh away. I don't know anybody who works as hard as he does at that age at something he's passionate about. You saw how it worked for Chris Rose last year in West Virginia, who did so well in the primary that his Democrat contender conceded to him the following day. Dylan is running for office in House District 81, and believe it or not, that seat is currently. That seat is currently occupied by a Democrat, and that Democrat ran and won that seat last cycle unopposed. So Dylan is going to oppose that Democrat this time. He's got the endorsements of several state representatives in the state already, and he's got a story to tell. So we're bringing him on, and he is doing things that many people refuse to do. Not only is he just getting involved and being involved in the volunteer process, calling and door knocking, etc., but he's taking it upon himself to run for office at 21 years old. The only place I was running at 21 years old was the bar. Okay. So I give this kid a lot of credit. I say kid, he's not a kid. We have his interview today. We're going to run it in two parts. It will run in full today, and then we'll take your calls in the second half of the show. I'd appreciate it if you guys give it a listen, and very excited to have done this interview with Dylan, and I think stories like this need to be highlighted because while there's a lot of bad stuff happening in our country, there's a lot of good stuff happening too, and people don't talk about the good things, right? They talk about the bad things. That most news is negative. I get it. I do news, right? I understand. But I think stories like this of, people getting up, standing up, filling the void, and taking the initiative to win back your country at 21 years old, these are stories that should be highlighted. These are things that should be encouraged. And that's why we had Dylan on today. I'm so excited to run this interview. We'll get to that in a second. Before we do that, I want to talk to you about our friends over at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com. OFPFarms.com. Christmas in July. My Christmas gift to you is this interview with Dylan. But OFP Farms has a Christmas gift for you as well. 35% off. Take a look.
Hey, y'all. Celebrate Christmas in July with a sale from OFP Farms. Goat milk soap so creamy you'd think the goats were bottling pure American spirit. Even Uncle Sam can't help but tip his hat at the scent of freedom. Don't wait. Deck your star-spangled halls now with 35% off. Stock up on our rich patriotic goat milk soaps, lotions, and lip balms. Or treat someone special with one of our famous gift sets. Because this sale ensures that you'll be sparkling brighter than the fireworks on the 4th. So, saddle up and treat yourself to a sudsy salute to the red, white, and bleak. Visit OFP Farms, where every wash is a celebration of American grit and goat glamour. Yeehaw.
That's OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean, SHAWN. I want to shout out MWags in the chat. Said they made a donation to OFP Farms, which is the next thing I wanted to talk about. OFP Farms is not just running a Christmas in July sale. OFP Farms is also another one of these examples of great American businesses, entities, people, etc., who are stepping up and filling the void where there is a void. Right now, you obviously have a disaster going on in the state of Texas. The floods that happened just about a week ago. And OFP Farms is putting together relief boxes. They have actually put together relief boxes for the families that have been impacted by that tragedy in Texas. If you'd like to donate, please go to OFPFarms.com. You see it right there on your screen. OFPFarms.com. Donate to this relief fund. Check out the listing on the website. Your contribution can help provide essential supplies like soap, lotions, and essential hygiene products to those in need after that disaster. Every donation, no matter what the size is, by the way, makes a huge difference in supporting the families as they navigate through the challenging times that they are currently mired in. Check it out at OFPFarms.com, and we thank you in advance for your generosity and your compassion. OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. Next up is Patriot Mobile. You know we love America's largest Christian conservative wireless provider, patriotmobile.com. Folks, I understand there's many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones that are popping up all over the place all the time, but I want to tell you all about Patriot Mobile. Here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing exceptional nationwide phone service with access to all three of the major networks. Don't just take my word for it, though. Ask the hundreds of thousands of Americans who have made the switch and are now supporting causes that they believe in simply by joining Patriot Mobile. Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. Keep your number and keep your phone, or you can upgrade your phone. Maybe you got one of those old phones. You want to get a new one? Patriot Mobile can help you upgrade and do that for you as well. Patriot Mobile's all U.S.-based support system and team is standing by to take care of you. Call 97-PATRIOT today or go to patriotmobile.com/Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, patriotmobile.com/Farish. Use the promo code Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, for a free month of service. That is patriotmobile.com/F-A-R-A-S-H or 972-PATRIOT. Make the switch today. Make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/Farish. It is time to highlight the good, okay? It is time to highlight the cases and the people in this country that are inspiring other people to get involved in the process. You know, last year during the primary season, we've been doing Phone Call Friday for weeks now, right? And last year we got calls from this guy a bunch. I bumped into him on X. We've never met in person yet. Hopefully that changes soon. But bumped into him on Twitter Spaces, and have watched him over the last couple of years really just take initiative, take charge. Guy's got, I think, 3 jobs. He manages a deck hockey team. He plays hockey. He's a good student and a sharp political mind with the ambitions that you would want the future of your country to look like, right? And there is no hill that is too steep to climb for Dillon Fillion. So we've been talking about doing this, and then Skype went away. We had to figure out a new way to do it. Obviously, you see that we're having much better experiences getting guests on the show now because we have the technology that can do it, and we figured it out. So we have Dylan Fillion, who's going to, we have an interview. It's about a half hour long. We go through his story. We go through his why. And I believe it's important to highlight people like him because you look at where our country is, how bad the apathy problem is, and then you see cases like this in Iowa, like Dylan, who never stops. The guy never stops. So without further ado, we're going to play the first part of that interview. We'll come in about halfway through, a little bit of a break. We'll go through the second part, and then we'll get your calls on what you thought about that. Remember to support Dylan at DillonFillion.com. We'll have the, I think it's in the ticker. It's also in the description of the show. Without further ado, here is the first part of our interview with Dylan Fillion of Iowa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by somebody you've heard from before. Let's put it this way. You've heard from him before, and you are now going to hear from him again, a remarkable 21-year-old patriot in the great state of Iowa, always telling you to get involved, and he's leading from the front in this case. Dylan Fillion running for House District 81 in the great state of Iowa, 21 years old, does not stop working. I don't know how many jobs the guy has, but he's doing a great job and will hopefully do a fantastic job in Iowa's State House out of District 81. Dylan, how are you?
Sean, I'm doing well. Our campaign is doing fantastically well.
I'm glad to hear that, and even better to hear and happier to hear that you decided to grab the bull by the horns in this case. 21 years old, I know what I was doing, and I wasn't running for office. I could say that. Now, not irresponsible or anything like that, but certainly wasn't thinking about becoming one of the youngest representatives in my state's history. Now, granted, I was in New York. It's not a very friendly place for Republicans, but I'll even give you this. At 21 years old, I don't even know if I was a Republican yet. I was probably still on the fence at this point because of, what they did to me in high school. So you're well ahead of the curve there. Your work ethic is second to none. I know that you were deeply involved with Chris Rose's campaign for state senate in West Virginia. So I have to ask, what prompted you to want to run for this position in Iowa? And did your involvement with Chris Rose's efforts in West Virginia play into that decision?
A little bit, but what got me involved, are you just talking what just got me involved in politics in general?
Oh, for sure, yeah. What was your motivation? What lit that spark? What was the moment where you said, I got to grab the bull by the horns here. I got to take initiative, and I got to make this happen?
Well, I really started to really engage with politics around COVID. I really started researching more since we were more docked up in our homes. So I really just started researching, and just my curiosity got the best of me. And I just was like, what is going on here? And eventually we saw the 2020 election, that we know the result of that. But what really got me engaged and involved in actively was just after COVID. I was sick and tired of the mask mandates. I was sick and tired of the vaccine. I did not want to get it. I felt like I was forced to get it. I didn't like that at all. And I just got really pissed off. And now I'm involved in my county party. I'm very involved with a lot of groups as well. And it's been a great time.
So let's put it this way. 5 years ago was when COVID was at its peak, right, in 2020. So you're telling me at age 16, you said, I don't like what's going on here. I'm not into the oppression. I'm not into being forced to do things I don't want to do. This is not how government is supposed to work. So 16 years old, you're now 21 years old. But it was at age 16 where you had that aha moment, that kind of, you said, I'm not okay with this. What was the next step? You were still, in high school at that point, right? How did that, I mean, were you I can tell you, in my high school, it was pretty much, there were a lot of liberals there. I was on Long Island. But, in school, was it one of these things where you're a Republican and now people are kind of looking at you funny, or was it a little bit different over where you're at in Iowa?
Well, where I was at, I was actually in a red county. So I got along pretty well with a lot of people, but I also ran into a lot of people from Milwaukee. My school where I was at in Wisconsin at the time was around Milwaukee area. So you had a mix of people, but my county for the most part was red and was huge Trump country. So I got along with people very well, but I also had my encounter with the liberals as well.
That's cool. Now let me ask, what was it like? You do your research, you're in high school, 16 years old. You're out there exposing yourself to the truth. And then you go to school, and I'm sure there were a bunch of things that were being taught in those schools. You were kind of like, I'm not so sure about that. Did you ever have any of those moments where kind of maybe there was some anti-American sentiment, maybe because you graduated high school a lot more recently than I did. I'll put it this way, right? I'm 34 years old. It's been
2
a long
years
time.
ago now.
Yeah. So what was it like? I mean, how much of that did you encounter from a curriculum standpoint from, your teachers, and what was being taught to you and what the agenda necessarily was? What was your experience with that?
Well, I would say a lot of my teachers were fair, other than one teacher I ran into my senior year, which we had a very good argument, but and everybody loved it. But a lot of my teachers, for the most part, were fair. I knew some of my teachers were liberals, but here's the thing is, a lot of those great teachers did not let their political agenda get in the way of what they were teaching.
That's good.
Which I think that is fantastic, regardless of what political side you're on. But for the most part, my teachers were fair. I did run into a few liberals here and there, but like I said, a lot of them did not let their political ideology get in front of their teaching.
Very good. Now, we fast forward. We're in Iowa District 81. You've made the decision, and I know this has been a decision that you've kind of been kicking around for a while, that you're going to get ready to run for office. Why run for office? I mean, this is something that people have asked me to do. They go run for Congress, run for this. And I'm like, I have experienced stuff like this on Long Island. I don't want any part of the swamp. Now, I'm never going to say never. I never know, but you're so young, 21 years old. Why did running for office become, the thing that you decided you had to do it? Why is that you feel like you're calling in this point?
Well, I always go by the saying, when your country calls you to do something, you do it. And I just, in my personal opinion, I just saw that this House seat was open, and we did not have a Republican running last election. And this is one of the hardest districts to find a Republican to run. So I thought, you know what, why not put my head in the ring and just go for it. And with a lot of my experience that I've had over the past few years, I think it's really elevated me to get to this point to where we can put real America First leaders in office and implement very good policies along with the other good policies that we've already introduced, and make our state an even better place to live.
Well, let me ask you this. So you just mentioned now that District 81, there was no Republican the last time there was an election.
Correct.
So the Democrat ran unopposed.
Yes, and we cannot let that happen.
Yeah, why do you think that was?
Well, from what I heard, they had a candidate, but the guy dropped out the last minute before the signature deadline. And unfortunately, we did not have a candidate. We could have done a special convention, but even I was talking to the House Appropriations Chairman, and he even said that it's hard to find a person to run in the district because barely anybody knows someone that lives in the district. Okay. I lived in the district for 10 years, and I know the place very well.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to why Republicans aren't running in this district, when is the last time a Republican held that seat at District 81?
2022. If you went back 10 years ago and looked at this district would be hell for a Republican. Okay. But in 2022, the lady that we were just talking about in the background here, Luana Stoltenberg, flipped that district from blue to red for the first time, I think in 10 or 20 years, some very huge number. And she was outnumbered by 1,000 Democrats and got 7 votes. And I got to say, she has one of the best political stories you'll probably ever hear.
That's awesome. What would you know any more about the story? Can you share any more about her story and how she was able to make it happen?
Well, first off, she was a huge pro-life advocate, and she really thought that she was not going to win the district because of her pro-life views. She believes that life at conception, as well as I do. But she was very surprised on election night that she won, but she went out there and did the work and knocked on doors. That is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to hit the ground running. We are going to be the voice that the people need. And this is what we're going to do. And Luana was one of the best representatives, because even if you didn't agree with her, she was still open to share her views on things that, probably wasn't popular, but she resonated with the people. Even across the aisle, she ran into a few Democrats at doors, and they disagreed on a lot of issues, and even the pro-life issue. But you know what? The Democrat really respected that she came up to them and had a conversation with them, because it's just a very, I would say it's very rare to have a nice, respectful conversation with somebody about politics these days, because people just hate talking about it. It gets so fed up, and you're just disengaged at that point, So it's just, she went out there and talked to people, did the right work that we did, especially with the Trump campaign, and we won big. And she won by 7 votes in that district, flipping that district from blue to red for the first time in probably 10 or 20 years.
7 votes. So that is a
7 votes. So now it went down to the wire.
Yeah, that's a very important thing to point out. 7 votes. And, we've had this conversation, and we've said it publicly. We've said it to each other. We've said it in Twitter Spaces, X Spaces. Every vote counts. And that is a prime example. District 81 in 2022 is a prime example that every vote counts. And so this is why, while I love it, and I know you're an election integrity, we want to make sure we have fair elections. We also want to be very careful about the messaging, right? That we're not telling people that it's rigged. In other words, your vote doesn't matter, because it does matter. Because Representative Stoltenberg wouldn't have won had it not been for those 7 votes, those 7 people who decided, you know what? I do need to get out there and vote today. I do need to make sure that I do my civic duty today. I do need to make sure that I push this candidate that I believe in today. And so those 7 votes, I mean, this is a street block, right? It could be as little as 1 to 2 households that put her over the finish line. And so now you're running in the same district where, obviously voters can be motivated to go out and
big shoes to fill too.
Big shoes to fill. Certainly big shoes to fill. But if anyone's going to fill them, it might not, why not you, right? Why not your base of support?
Absolutely.
So let me ask this now. When it comes to District 81, you mentioned that, former Representative Stoltenberg resonated with the district. Besides the pro-life issue, because obviously this is a pretty close district, right? What other issues in District 81 are important to the residents of that district that you think would be hot button items that will drive them to the polls? Things that, if and when you become the next representative out of District 81, that you'll be able to address for them.
Well, here's the thing: is the property tax is a huge issue in our county, and it's a huge problem in my district. And I want to create a plan by 2040 to eliminate it, because we really don't need the property tax. Yes, we can fund local government other ways without the property tax. I understand the property tax funds a lot of local services, but there's also other ways we can fund local services without taxing people on property that they worked 10 to 20 years for on a mortgage. And in my opinion, if the government is taxing you on your property that you already own, you technically do not own your property, and the government can seize it from you.
That's a great point. That's a great point. So property taxes, obviously, and this is something that we've seen starting to come up in red states around the country. Yeah, red states around the country. Florida's trying to get rid of it at the state level. Tennessee does not have it at the state level, but we just, I believe, passed a law and maybe filing a constitutional amendment here in our state to the state constitution that will ban it
false suit
from ever coming in. Right?
Here.
DeSantis doing the same thing in Florida. So you said Texas, I believe there's been a push for it. So you're starting to see this essentially this war being waged against property taxes. And I believe that's being done because of what you just highlighted, right? You
Absolutely.
own the land, but if you don't pay the property taxes, your land can be taken away. So it's kind of like you don't own the land. You're renting the land, which I think is ridiculous. If you pay off your mortgage on your property, you should not have to pay property taxes. And there should be other ways to fund those services. First responders, EMS, trash collection, if that's a thing in your district, and in your municipality. So, I applaud you for trying to be creative to try and figure ways around that. I know you are, obviously you're, young, 21 years old. The average age, I believe, in the United States right now for home ownership is well into the 50s. I want to see people like you own a home. So, how do you feel about that particular issue?
Well, I feel that if we eliminate the property tax, I think that will actually open up more doors for more home ownership. Currently, right now, we have a lot of people in this country renting because of the affordability crisis that we have. And that's also due to many other presidencies and bad policies. But I believe that if we can eliminate the property tax, I believe that will bring more real estate to the district. And not only the district, but the state, because I'm not only representing my district, I'm also representing a lot of Iowans when I vote. So it's just very important. And my biggest thing is I want to bring more economic opportunity here to Iowa. I want to bring more people to live, work, and raise a family here. And my main goal is to make Iowa one of the best states to come and have a job and raise a family here. Well, and Iowa has been doing fantastically well with conservative policies, with cutting taxes, election integrity, you name it. It's just, we're doing a fantastic job here, and we plan to continue that fantastic job.
All right, we'll be back with the second half of the interview with Dylan Fillion. How about that, huh? Doing a great job. I think he did really well. Can't wait for him to. Can't wait for him.
Was I not turned on?
You were not turned on. That's it.
Well, I'll say it again. He's doing wonderful.
He's doing really well. Brennan's enjoying it. Everybody seems to be enjoying it. And apparently there's a little bit of matchmaking going on right now in the LFA chat. I'll leave it at that. Folks, we got to get to a word from our friends at mypatriotsupply.com. Right here. You see it. Look, the headlines. They're getting darker by the day. Escalating global conflicts, shaky supply chains, an unstable power grid, weather, all this crazy stuff. Feels like we're just one more crisis away from potentially total chaos. That's why I want you to take this step that many people have taken thus far, and some people mean to take it, and then all of a sudden they wind up knee-deep in a crisis. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and check out the 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. This is a company that so many people trust, and the 3-month kit is their bestseller for a reason. Over 2,000 calories a day for 3 full months with meals that last up to 25 years. 25-year shelf life. So a 3-month food kit, let's say everything hits the fan, 3-month food kit, emergency supply kit. This stuff is good for 25 years. My Patriot Supply is offering an exclusive deal on this kit just for our listeners, but it will not last long. So don't wait until the next crisis hits and the shelves are bare, right? How funny is that I have my bare shelves Biden mug right now? Remember that one? That was a long time ago. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned, and check out the 3-month emergency supply food kit. It's mypatriotsupply.com for the 3-month emergency food kit. Exclusive deal for our listeners. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. That's mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. And next up, we do have a message from somebody you may know, may have heard of him. Jeremy Harrell, right? He's coming up next for 3 hours today because Kevin Smith's out of town. So Jeremy will be on for 3 hours. But before he comes on for 3 hours, I'm going to put him on for about a minute and a half here to tell us about one of our new sponsors, Pure Health. It's purehealth.com. Take a look.
Hey guys, what's going on? I got an incredible offer here for you from Pure Health Research. This is going to blow your mind. Look, I know so many people out there, especially as we get older, we want to drop a few pounds. We lose a little energy. We lose a little testosterone. We lose a little, estrogen. We just lose as we get older. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to gain, and this message is just for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to what? Make America Healthy Again. They are aligned with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s mission, and I'm aligned with that. Their 2 best-selling health supplements right now that are leading the way is the Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans are sluggish because of a liver that is riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on pounds, make you feel tired, all that. Liver Health Formula will take care of that. It supports your liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down. Next is the lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, been there, done that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this one's going to be for you. The natural ingredient in the lymph system formula helps gently flush extra fluids and toxins out of the body. Right now, you can get a limited time offer, 35% off right now. 35% off by going to purehealthresearch.com and using promo code LFA. That's Pure Health Research right now. Use promo code LFA and you'll get 35% off targeted products. I need something for this. I need something for that. They got it. And I want you to check out their reviews online. They are through the roof. purehealthresearch.com. Promo code LFA.
PureHealthResearch.com, promo code LFA. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Pure Health, for being a part of the show. When we come back, we'll be ready for your calls at 631-527-4545. Let me know what you thought of Dylan's interview as we get to part 2. Dillon Fillion of Iowa. Follow him on X and Truth Social at Dillon, Dillon, Fillion, Fillion, and then IA. Dillon Fillion, IA. On X and Truth Social. Without further ado, here's part 2. Yeah, the future looks bright with younger folks like you stepping in and filling the void. Now, let me ask you this. Is there going to be a primary in your district that you know of?
Currently, right now, we are unopposed. But in my opinion, I think it would look stupid for anybody to run against me because Luena is extremely popular in the district. And I don't know what they would want to primary me on because so far I'm the main guy, and but you know, we'll have to see. But for right now, we're unopposed, and Luena has fully endorsed me strongly, and we have a few endorsements coming down the pipe that we plan to release sometime this week or next week and the upcoming weeks.
Very cool. Luena Stoltenberg, former state representative out of District 81, has endorsed you, which is a huge deal. So congratulations on that. And
first endorsement too. First endorsement.
That is incredible. And then Brad Sherman, another former state representative. Now, which district did Mr. Sherman represent?
He represented Williamsburg, Iowa, which is about an hour and I think 30 or 20 minutes away from me. Something like that, but he represented the Williamsburg area. He was a fantastic state representative. He for sure got a look under the curtain at the legislature. We still have some problems in our legislature, but he was a fantastic state representative, was always open, and just a very fantastic constitutional conservative. And I'd actually recommend, Sean, and to everybody else watching this show, that you guys subscribe to his newsletter because he sends out a lot of great things about our Constitution and even some history of our Constitution that maybe we really don't talk about in schools or anything else, because he's a very good constitutional conservative, and I recommend everybody look at his things that he has.
Yeah, and he's just endorsed you for your position in your race out of Iowa House District 81. So I want to pivot over to the way you operate, right? And I've seen it. I've seen you on online social media, very diligent, speaking in spaces, and always encouraging people to stay involved. You were intimately involved, I know, with Chris Rose's state senate campaign in West Virginia. That was a story that shocked a lot of people, but did not shock you and did not shock me.
One of the best political stories.
I mean,
one of the best.
It shocked a lot of people, but it didn't shock you. It didn't shock me because we knew exactly what he was up to and how hard he was working. But we started talking a lot last year, and I know you started calling into this show about the work that you were doing ahead of primaries for the Trump campaign. And you didn't slow down. So let's go to the Iowa primary, for example. I know you made a ton of phone calls for the Trump campaign ahead of that primary. How many calls did you make in general, and just why didn't you stop? Why didn't you take a breath? Well, why'd you go so hard?
Well, here's the thing is, Sean, is if you looked at our country, you have, and by the way, that's not that long ago. Currently, Trump is cleaning up the mess that Biden left him. So there was a lot of things at stake for our country. My future was at stake. And I knew that if Trump did not get elected, I knew for a fact I probably wouldn't be able to probably afford the American dream. And it was probably unattainable. Not to say that it probably would have been attainable, but it would have been a lot more harder to attain it. Currently it's hard to attain it right now, but if Kamala Harris was in office, that would have been 10 times worse. So I saw that our country was on the line, and I got my butt involved, and I ran around the state of Iowa, put miles up on my car, helped out at Trump rallies, helped to get the word out. And the reason why I didn't slow down is because our country was at stake. I knew what was at stake. My future was at stake, and a lot of my generation's future. So I did a lot of work that maybe a lot of people did not do, which, by the way, too, there was a lot of fantastic volunteers that did the same exact work I did. And I got to give everybody a round of applause because it was such a team effort. And there was a lot of great people involved in that campaign.
How many phone calls did you make ahead of that Iowa primary?
I made 95,000 phone calls plus a few thousand more after the primary when he went to New Hampshire and Arizona and those other places.
Yeah, you made a ton of calls out of the state. And I know before the general election, you and I were, talking about Scott Pressler's Early Vote Action app and the Turning Point Action app and going through and texting people. And I actually got in a little bit of trouble because I did it too many.
Same here. I had to get a new phone number.
Yeah, T-Mobile, they blocked me, so that was a whole thing. But but this is the stuff that we talk about all the time, right? Whether it's 7 votes, whether it's 95,000 phone calls,
3 votes,
whatever it might be, just the willingness, the urge, the dedication to go that extra mile. I think it's so important that there are more people who adopt that type of work ethic that you yourself have. So I have to ask, where did you learn how to work that hard? Because most 21-year-olds don't want to do what you're doing.
Well, here's the thing is I will say, before I got into politics, I played a lot of hockey and I'm a goalie. And in order to get somewhere high as a goalie, you need to work your butt off to get there. And you need to improve every single day. And I worked very hard as a goalie, and I really brought a lot of my hockey mentality into politics. And when I was on the Trump campaign, I really saw the backroom work that they did to make sure that they had a successful statewide campaign. And all I thought was like, man, I could apply this if I were to run for like a small district. I could apply this to my district and probably win by big numbers because, it takes a lot of work to win a campaign. And I saw how much work went into the Trump campaign, and I'm going to apply that to my campaign.
And I think it's
by the way,
great,
too.
Yeah.
I also did work for a congresswoman before. I volunteered for Congresswoman Marionette Miller Meeks' campaign in 2022, which really did help know the game a little bit. And then when I went to the Trump campaign, I took that knowledge into that, and then I elevated after that.
Very cool. And I also have to ask now the parallels between what you're looking to achieve and what Chris Rose achieved in West Virginia. What lessons can you take from his campaign? Because look at what he did, right, in West Virginia, running for state senate, and the amount of money that was spent against him versus how much money he brought to the table versus how much he won by. I mean, that primary was not close to the point where his Democrat opponent the next morning conceded, said, I don't want any part of this. What lessons can you learn from what he did? And not only how can you apply that lesson to what you're trying to do, but how can other people who are in your position, no matter what state they're in, county, district, et cetera, how can they apply those lessons to, what they want to do and achieve in politics?
Well, I would say one of the biggest lessons is you need to block out to do is be focused on knocking doors. Don't listen to the drama, like Chris said in his interview, and just keep on going, putting your message out there, and stay engaged with the voter. The biggest thing is you need to stay engaged with the voter, because that's the person that's going to put you over the line. Okay. I believe I will go off of what exactly Chris Rose said, and you need to just block out the noise and be signal, because that's the only way you're going to win a campaign. And that's one of the biggest things we did with Trump. Even after, when he got indicted and all this other Alvin Bragg's, all this Alvin Bragg stuff came down, we just kept on going. We did not care. And we wanted to win, and we knew how much was at stake.
Yeah, it's a solid answer to just be focused, right? Focus on what matters. It's a good
Straight
approach.
line.
You know, don't worry about what's happening out here. Just keep your eyes on the prize. Let me ask you this: as we talk about your run for House District 81, have you been out on the campaign trail speaking to prospective voters? What has the feedback been like? This early in the campaign.
Well, I have been out talking to people a little bit. I actually have a few friends that live in the district as well, so that helps. I have just been going out, just talking to people about what they think about the last few months of the Trump administration. I've been getting a little signatures here and there, but I haven't been as much on the ground as I would be if it were campaign season. But I have been talking to people. I've been involved in the county party. I've been trying to do as much as I can. And I would say everything is going well.
Very good.
So far.
Now, what is the best way for people in the, not just the state of Iowa, the country, but specifically for this race? What's the best way for people to support you? I know you have your website, DillonFillion.com, running for House District 81. But what is the best way for people to support your campaign here?
Well, the best way they can support me is go to DillonFillion.com, and if they can donate $1 to $5 or however they can afford it. If they can't afford it, it's okay. If you can share that to a lot of your friends and help my campaign out. This campaign is literally funded by the grassroots. It is all funded by the grassroots, and I would say the biggest thing is if you can share my information, if you can follow me, share some of my posts, my messages on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, that would be a huge help as well. I would say the biggest thing is share my message, share my website, and tell people how they can get in contact with me, and I would love to help them out.
Very good. And when does campaign season fully ratchet up? You mentioned it's not really season yet. When do things really start to get intense for you?
Well, I would say once it starts getting into November and December area, I would say that's when it's starting to ramp up, because I have to turn in my signatures around February 21st, and I just want to get that out of the way, because if we don't have signatures, we are not on the ballot.
That's right.
That's very important as well. And also, Sean, I wanted to tell you a story of what happened my senior year of high school with one of my teachers. So I was in this class in April, and I actually broke my leg my senior year, if nobody was aware. So I sat in this class, and this is like the second day of class. It's 9 a.m. I'm just very tired from the night before, and I walk into this class, and she has a picture of a political cartoon of Donald Trump in a jumpsuit in a jail cell. And Sean, out of all the years I've gone to school, I've never seen such bipartisanship, partisanship.
Sure.
Inside a classroom. It's a educational learning environment. You're supposed to let the kids choose what side they want to pick, or else just don't pick a side at all. So I walked into the class, and the teacher walked in and said, "Well, everybody, Donald Trump just got indicted, and he might be going to jail. And just because you get indicted, I don't think means you're going to jail, right?" So she walks in and says that, and I'm like, "That's totally not true." And she's like, "Dylan, stop interrupting." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to stop interrupting, because what you're saying is absolutely false. Yes, he did get indicted, but that does not mean he's going directly to jail." Okay. So I basically said that, and I kept on interrupting because she kept on spewing a bunch of BS. I'm not for that. And I basically told her that Alvin Bragg downgraded a lot of his felonies to misdemeanors. And she's like, well, Dylan, show evidence. So I pulled up this New York Post article, and I was reading off the numbers of how much crimes he downgraded. And she's like, well, Dylan, where did these numbers come from? I'm like, oh, let's check this link that they left in the article. Guess where it led to, Sean? It led to Alvin Bragg's website.
Of course, right.
Yeah,
so what he did is, he downgraded a lot of these felonies down to misdemeanors, but he upgraded Donald Trump's misdemeanor to a federal felony, and I still don't know how he did it.
Parking ticket.
Yeah.
Parking ticket.
Yeah.
My gosh.
I still don't know how he did it, but I think it says a lot that you're willing to push back when you see somebody assaulting the truth. The way that teacher was doing that.
By the way, the kids, after I roasted her, like during the whole entire class, the kids were like, Dylan, thank you for doing that. Everybody laughed their butt off, and the liberals were freaking out in the classroom, but it was hilarious, but everybody enjoyed it, and that spread around school.
Very good. Well, I got to say this. I admire your tenacity, admire your work ethic, admire the amount of effort that's going into this, and I can't wait to see how far this goes. And I think this is only the beginning after this race. Listen, you've got these endorsements. Alex Stone of the Alex Stone Show, Veterans for America First, at vfaf.us. Luana Stoltenberg, as we spoke about, former state representative from the district that you are running in. Brad Sherman, former state representative in the state of Iowa. Elias Coop Gonzalez, West Virginia state delegate. TJ Roberts, a Kentucky state representative. You could add my name to your list. I will endorse you for Iowa House District 81. I want to see this happen. I want to see this happen in the worst way. And I don't think this is going to be the only time that you're going to be on the show promoting this campaign. I would like to see it. I know we've never met in person yet, but I feel like we know each other pretty well, and I don't think anybody else will do a better job in the seat. So Dillon Fillion,
Sean.
that's right, Dillon Fillion of Iowa. Listen, best of luck in District 81. We'll help out the best way we can, and we really appreciate you coming on the show. Hope to hear more from you in the future, and hope to see the future, continue to blossom for you. Thank you so much for your time. Would you like to offer any closing words to anybody who's watching right now?
Well, first off, I would like to say thank you, Sean, for having me on, and thank you to the LFA family for being so inviting and fantastic to me. And Sean, thank you for your strong endorsement as well. It's a great honor, and it's going to be a great honor when we're going to be representing the people of House District 81, getting a lot of great things done. I just want to say, we're going to keep Iowa great. We're going to keep Iowa moving forward, and we're going to make our state even greater.
Thank you so much, Dylan, for joining us. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I know the LFA family and everybody who's watching is super excited about what the future holds for you for District 81 and for the state of Iowa. Dylan Fillion, DillonFillion.com. Donate, support his campaign, and we will hear more from him in the future. Thank you. All right, that's our interview with Dillon Fillion. I'm sure he'll be back as well at some point as his campaign starts to ratchet up. And I'll tell you what, just that story about what he did to that teacher. Could you imagine what this guy's going to do when he makes it into the House of Representatives in Iowa? Gotta make it happen. Gotta make it happen just for the memes. No, I want to see it happen in the worst way. So give him a follow on social media. Check out his website, DillonFillion.com. All right, a quick word from our friends over at SilentSLNT.com/Sean. Then we'll get to your calls. 631-527-4545. Between the government, big tech, corporate America, and criminals, your privacy is compromised 24/7. There's no other option. You've got to protect yourself, and that starts with Silent. Silent's Faraday products block all incoming and outgoing signals so that your devices are invisible and safe from the outside world. From their backpacks, phone sleeves, and even pants, patented signal blocking technology blocks wireless signals, giving you peace of mind that your data does not end up in the wrong hands. Just put your device inside of it, close it up, and that's all you got to do. That's all you've got to do. That is the way to safeguard yourself from unauthorized access. It stops all radiation. It blocks all hacking and tracking, blocks radiation as well, these devices. Go silent today at SLNT.com/Sean to save 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is SLNT.com/Sean for 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. Stay ahead of what is coming and secure your privacy today. That is silent.com, SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN, silent.com/Sean for 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. All right, let's get those calls rolling in at 631-527-4545, 631-527-4545. Would love to hear what you had to say about Dillon Fillion's interview here on Ungoverned, and, of course, anything else that is on your mind. 631-527-4545, 631-527-4545 as I load up this page. And we wait for your calls to start coming in. Page is loading right now. And here we go. We have a call coming in right now. We're going to connect to it. And we are going to, let me see. Oh, hold on. It's happening again. Let's see. Okay. All right. Is it connecting here? It says it is. All right. Are we connected? Who do we have on the line here?
It's your girl, Conservative Autumn.
Conservative Autumn. Gracie, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
We're doing really well. What's on your mind?
Dylan's interview was amazing. He's so inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope that more folks that are in that generation, right, that age, feel inspired to reach up and reach out and make a difference.
I'm the same age. I'm close to the same age, so I definitely understand that.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and hopefully, the next generation of America starts taking over pretty quickly. The ones on our side. So. The ones on the other side, no. But on the ones on our side, yes, absolutely.
The ones on the other side are rare, but definitely.
That's right. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the interview, Gracie, and I hope you have a great weekend.
You guys too. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. That's Conservative Autumn, our friend Gracie, who is in the chat and does a great job. She enjoyed Dylan's interview. Here we go.
Oh, Chris Rose is in the chat.
Chris Rose is in the chat. So the whole thing about that, Chris is in the chat. He just won his case in his race in West Virginia. There's no case. Chris Rose is not a criminal. And now Dylan's running for office, and now we have Heather from Kansas City on the phone. What's up, Heather?
Howdy. I was gonna say I love Dylan. I would totally endorse him. Okay, my full endorsement if that matters. But I do fully endorse Dylan in Kansas City here. Okay.
We need you to commit some voter fraud. I'm only kidding.
No. Anyway, a couple things. We are praying for my youth department. They are going on a mission trip this week. They left early this morning at about 6 a.m. They're going to El Paso, Texas, and then they're traveling over to New Mexico in the mountain area, which is about north of where those big floods were just a little while ago. So we're praying for their safety.
Yes.
But they did say a lot of hearts are open right now, so that's a good thing.
Good.
And then I want to say I am not fully endorsed with Pam Bondi at this time. I don't.
Neither am I, by the way.
I don't know. I love Kristi Noem. I think she's doing a fantastic job. But
yes.
Not so much with Pam Bondi. But anyway, that was my thought. Like I said, I need some Dylan merch here, Dylan. Okay, if you're listening, I need some merch.
There we
so
go.
I can wear it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a good idea, and I think you'll be behind this idea. Why don't we send Taylor Swift to Pam Bondi's desk? This way she disappears. Okay.
Sure, absolutely. Sounds good to me. All right.
There we go. All right. Thank you, Heather, for the call. You have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. We're going to get to another one in just a second.
She's so cute.
She's amazing. I want to talk to you guys about Armor Colostrum. TryArmor.com/LFA TV. We're always on the way for always on the lookout for ways to strengthen your immunity, gut health, and improve fitness and metabolism. That's what Armor Colostrum can do for you and more. It is the first nutrition we receive in life, contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. Check it out. I know there's a lot of people. Dylan, actually, you know what? Dylan uses Armor Colostrum. He thinks it's great.
That has to be why his skin looks so
That's
flawless.
probably why he was glowing in that interview. You see him?
He looks like a porcelain doll.
It's because Armor Colostrum can reactivate your hair growth, can help your skin glow. Look at Dylan in the interview was glowing like,
They should make him the face.
That's it. He's the face of Armor Colostrum. It stimulates stem cell research, stimulates stem cells. Dylan's stem cells they're crazy.
They're stemming.
And collagen production. Increasing elasticity for plumper skin, guarding against UV damage, chemicals and pollutants from the environment, and clearing blemishes for a glowy Dillon Fillion complexion. Check it out at tryarmor.com/LFATV. That is TRYARMRA.com/LFATV. Tryarmor.com/LFATV for 15% off of your first order. That's tryarmor.com/LFATV. Let's keep those calls coming in. 631-527-4545. Feedback on Dylan's interview, any words of support, encouragement, anything else that is on your mind. 631-527-4545. I see this thing is doing this again where there are calls coming in, but it's not showing up that it's ringing on my screen. So keep trying. 631-527-4545. That was good. That was a good working of the sponsor and how Dylan's skin looked on
because you can actually see results.
That's the results.
We were able to see in real time.
Exactly. We were able to see it in real time. I don't know why this is it's not letting me pick up the calls right now, but it's 631-527-4545. Anybody wants to try and get in over the last couple of minutes. We are here. Let me see. Hold on one second here. What was I going to do? There we go. Obviously, we have, what is that, 2 weeks away from the ARC trip, by the way?
Let's see.
That's supposed to be Saturday the 26th, right? Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Now it's letting me pick up. All right, we have somebody on the line. We're allowing this to connect. All right, who do we have on the line here?
Oh, hi, I'm Dennis from Syracuse, New York area.
Hi, Dennis from Syracuse, New York. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to make a comment about Sean's interview with Dylan.
Oh, that's me. You're already on live. We don't have a call screener, so this is Sean right now. Dennis, we got to do things a little bootleg back here. You're good. What's going on? How'd you like the interview?
I liked it very much. I'm an old guy. I'm 73.
That's not that
and no, it isn't. But I'm a big kid. Anyway, seeing Dylan. And hearing what he had to say, it really gives me hope.
Good.
For the future.
Good.
Kids, he's a bright young man, and I believe a lot of the kids in his age bracket are a lot smarter than I was, or we were in my age bracket. That with the internet and everything, they were raised with it. They've been exposed to all kinds of information.
Yep.
And they use some their own evaluating, and that's what gives me hope. The establishment, which young people tend to fight against, we did.
That's right.
Maybe you did. So they fight against the establishment. You get the teaching establishment is largely liberal, and now we got kids like this fighting against it.
And that's the whole point. That's why we wanted to bring you that interview. Unfortunately, Dennis, we got to go because we got Jeremy's coming up next. But I appreciate your call. Thank you so much for your words of support. And I'm glad that seeing someone like Dylan on your screen this morning gives you hope. That's the point of that, and that's what we wanted. So thank you, Dennis, and you have a great weekend. Okay.
Okay, you too, Sean. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Dennis. Wish I could have spoken a little longer. We're up against 10 o'clock. Jeremy Harrell coming up next. Remember to check out the LFA TV store. Get your LFA TV merch before you go and head out to the ARC in just a couple of weeks, lfatv.us. All the information is on the website about how to attend that ARC trip. It's lfatv.us or jeremyherald.com/store. Check it out. Get your LFA TV merch and wear it to that ARC Encounter meetup on July 26th. Brennan and I will be there. We can't wait to see all of you. Jeremy Harrell up next for the next 3 hours as he fills in for Kevin Smith today. Kevin is out of town. 3 hours of Jeremy coming up here on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. Make sure you're following the channel. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're sharing. As President Trump says, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great weekend. We will see you back here on Monday, same time, same place. Glad you watched the interview. Enjoyed the interview with Dylan. Share it with all your friends. And thank you so much for your attention to this matter. Have a great weekend.